Hello, the internet. My name's Mers, and today we're going to talk about scales. So, you might have heard me on my audition overview talk about how important scales are. And yes, they are important to be comfortable with your instrument, to know how to get around it, as we say. But besides that, they're also really important for your audition score. So I'm going to do a little bit of math here. Sorry, guys. On your audition, your points are broken down into different categories. We have our prepared piece, our sight reading, 2 major scales, and a chromatic scale. Now, people look at the score breakdown and they say, wow, 30 points for my sight reading, 30 points for my prepared piece. Those are pretty big categories. These scales, it's just 10 points for a scale, 10 points for another scale, and 20 for the chromatic. No big deal. I'm not going to worry about those. I'm just going to focus on my prepared piece. That couldn't be further from the truth, because let me tell you, points add up. So what you should really think about is that your scales are 40 points. That's right, 40 points for your scales. And this is something that you know months ahead of time. You know to prepare your scales. You know years ahead of time to prepare your scales for your audition. That's awesome. It's basically free points. You get free points if you know your scales. Wow, that's so generous. Why, thank you, audition committee. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity to have so many free points, 40 free points. I only have to worry about 60 of them. Amazing. So we're going to talk about scales and some ways to help learn them and memorize them. So when you learn your scales, you really should know them by the note names and the letter names. Not just, this finger, but no, this note is a C sharp, or this note is an A flat, whatever the case may be. So you really, really, really need to be fluent in your scale, not just know the name. Believe me, you'll thank me in about 20 years, okay? It's really worth it. And it doesn't take that long, guys. It doesn't take that long to learn a scale. You just got to spend a couple minutes to do it. So let's take an example. I'm not very good at the clarinet. Here's my A scale, okay? I might learn it by adding one note at a time. So I'll start on my first note in A. Okay, now what comes after A in the alphabet? B. A, B. What comes next in the alphabet? Let me think for a second. C. That's right, and I've got 3 sharps, so I have a C sharp. Oh, that was okay. Let me try it again a little bit better. Oh, I'm feeling pretty good about that. What's the next note? A, B, C sharp, D. Okay. That's a little bit of a funny fingering. I should try that a few times in a row. Oh, okay, I'm getting it now. What's the next note? So on and so forth. That is a really good way of learning the notes in your scale, and once you know them, you'll never have to worry about them again. Going through my A scale like that, I could probably learn it in 10 minutes, maybe 15 if I'm having a rough day or if there's some really awkward fingerings, but let's say I learned it in 15 minutes. I can just practice it once or twice a day, but I know it really well. You want to make your scales beautiful. I've listened to many auditions, and I've listened to people who play their scales that almost bring a tear to my eye, and I say, bravo, bravo, 10 out of 10. And that's free points for that person. I've heard some people who have not spent time learning their scales, and I have to write, keep working on them, because they don't get the free points. They might only get 1, 2, or 3 points if they really haven't practiced it yet. So scales are free points. Just learn them. Just take the time to do it. It's easy, and you'll be glad you did.